glasses, rub it all over some spices. Heat up the grill until it gets real hot. Throw on the meat and listen to it sizzle. Throw on the meat and listen to it sizzle. All we need is some special sauce. All we need is some special sauce and some barbecue buns. Yeah, barbecue buns.
Hey everybody, welcome to BBQ Bunz. This is very exciting. This is episode number 2. So come along, come on my journey of food and drink. Let's have fun. All right, let's get started. As often happens here at BBQ Bunz, we're going to get going with a cocktail, but we got to do some prep for this one. So let's see, let's get started. Here's what we got. We have some cherries, bag of cherries, fresh cherries. They were on sale, what, $2.99 a pound or something like that. Great. And here we have the infusing device. This is Italian made. I bought it on the internets. You know, I couldn't tell you exactly where, but I guarantee if you go to the Googles and put in, you know, liquor infuser or something like that, you probably come up with all kinds of options. So the key features of this sucker are the lid, which has a rubber seal on it, so it maintains an airtight seal of the substance while we are letting it stew, so to speak. And then the spigot. And this is just great because it's a very, very convenient way to decant the liquor out of the fruit. Now we're going to be making a bourbon with cherries today. But this can be used for all kinds of different stuff. It'll probably show up in some other episodes. I've made some really great pepper vodka, ginger vodka, all kinds of fun things. But today we're going to go with the cherries. Okay, first things first, we must wash them. Some cold water in a little bucket here. I just take a little paring knife, open your infuser, and you just take your cherries, pull the stem off of them, and just cut them in half. You don't need to bother about that pit. You just want to expose the interior of that fruit to our alcohol so it can soak up all that delicious cherry flavor. Happy little cherries getting cut in half, thrown into the jar where they'll get drowned in alcohol. Alright. Okay, now the fun part. We get to add the booze. I personally am a big fan of the Maker's Mark. So you just simply pour the bourbon into the container. And basically what you're going to want to do is fill it up to, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches above the cherries. Now, the time to let it sit for an infusion varies depending on what kind of alcohol you're using and what kind of substance you're using. With the cherries, I would say about 4 days. Okay. Now we simply go ahead and seal that up. So that's nice and airtight. So here's what it looks like when it's done, folks. Pour a little into our shot glass here. So I don't know if you can see that color, but it's definitely got a nice red tinge to it. Swig here. Smells delicious. Oh yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to set that infuser aside and we're going to make us a cocktail in just a moment here. Cocktail time, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to make a variation on the classic American cocktail, the Manhattan. So the traditional Manhattan is made with the bourbon that is not infused with the cherry, so we're just kind of pumping things up a little bit. This is some sweet vermouth, red vermouth, and I have some cherries here. Now traditionally maraschino cherries were used in the Manhattan, but let's face it, maraschino cherries kind of suck. Now, the traditional Manhattan also has bitters in it. We are not going to use the bitters. Why? Because I don't like them in the Manhattan. I like it a little bit sweeter. You can use bitters if you like. I'm going to make 2 batches at the same time, so keep that in mind. One cocktail is going to be 1 full shot of the regular bourbon and 1 full shot of the infused bourbon. So I'm going to get 2 shots of the bourbon in here. Very carefully measured. We don't want to... Oh! Did we just spill over? Oh no! 2 of those because we're making 2 cocktails, 2 of them. And now some of this sweet cherry infused stuff. Oh yeah, a couple of shots of that. In general, it is a 1/2 ounce of the sweet vermouth, so we're going to do a whole ounce. We go ahead and pull a couple of our cherries out of here. There we go, put those in a glass. Lovely. Just this little extra cherry flavor, but it's also, this is a syrup, so it's a little sugar, a little sweetness for your drink. Just a dab of that. Stuff a bunch of ice in there, about to the top of your liquid. Pop your top on there. Ladies and gentlemen, it's shake time. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake that Manhattan. Well, I think we're ready to serve up our cocktail here. Let's see what that looks like. Oh my goodness, will you take a look at that? Oh, doggy. And we're going to say cheers. Now that doesn't suck at all. Oh, hi, excuse me. I'm just taking a sip on my cocktail there. All right, we're gonna make some potatoes. Roasted potatoes. I recommend using red skinned potatoes. You know, those are plenty small enough that those are still nice tender potatoes. So again, we just want to rinse off our vegetables here. And so what we're going to do then is just cut these up. Now we cut them up for a couple of different reasons. One of which is because the smaller pieces are going to cook more quickly. But the other reason is because they're going to pick up more flavor. There's more surface for them to pick up our seasonings. You're going to want to have some kind of roasting pan that you're comfortable putting on your grill, because we are going to roast them out on the grill. So we got a bowl. Just going to go ahead and throw those taters in there. We got a little extra virgin olive oil here. You know, I'm not usually one for skimping on the extra virgin olive oil, but you don't want these potatoes to turn out greasy. You want them to be a little crispy. Kosher salt. Be nice and generous with that. Of course, part of the reason that we put the olive oil on there is that it makes the seasonings stick to the potato nicely. Fresh ground pepper, not too coarse. You don't want any pepper chunks in this. And then we're going to use herbe de Provence, or as we call it here in the United States, herbes de Provence. And this is a combination of a bunch of different stuff. What's it got in it? Let's see. Rosemary, thyme, basil, marjoram, and laurel leaves. We are going to sprinkle some on our potatoes here, and don't be afraid to use a good quantity of this here, because we're going for some nice herb flavor on these taters. And you want to try to coat the potatoes evenly with the olive oil and with your herbs. And that's it, really. You can see how basically we've got it all coated on there, so nothing looks greasy. The olive oil is evenly coated along all the potatoes, and the seasonings should be spread out very nicely. And we go ahead and just put that in our pan. Okay. So what we are going to do with these suckers is just pop them on the grill here. Now, this particular grill has 5 temperature zones. The 3 on this side we now have on, which are cooking up this grill, which our chicken's going to go on. But what we're also creating is we're creating a situation where there's no direct heat underneath the potatoes, but there is heat from these other things, so they're basically going to roast, kind of like as if they were in an oven. So we'll just go ahead and close that, and those generally are going to take about 45 minutes. One good thing to do, at least once about halfway through, is come out and just kind of turn them over, because the surfaces which are touching the bottom of the metal are going to brown more quickly. Okay, vegetable time, ladies and gentlemen. What we're going to do here is we're going to make a steamed kale dish. So we've got our pan with a little bit of water in the bottom there. We put our steamer in there, and that's where our kale is going to go. Now, what I like to do is take my pieces of kale and cut most of that rib out of there, okay? I'm not really interested in that rib. Always cut, as you know, away from the hand as I'm demonstrating here. All right, what we're going to do then is just rinse this kale up. That's good. Now it really doesn't matter, you don't have to drain it all that well since you're going to be putting it on top of water and steaming it anyway. You just want to try to clean them off a little bit there. Oh, what have we here? Fresh radishes. God, these are huge radishes, my God. Well, I don't think we need more than 2 on this, so. And we want to slice just as thin as we can. Now this takes a little practice. After we have steamed the kale, we're going to toss it with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, a splash of balsamic vinegar, and some very, very wafer thin slices of a radish. Wafer thin. Yeah, we'll just kind of cut those into some pieces. Great. Okay, we're going to just let that sit. The kale is going to go in the steamer, and we will throw that on the stove in a little while. It doesn't take too long to steam your kale up. I mean 15 minutes probably. So, all right, we're good with that. All right, folks, the main dish, the pièce de résistance, if you will. We're gonna make us some rosemary grilled chicken. This is a big ass boneless chicken breast. If you get the little small skinny ones, you can just leave them as they are. But this one we are going to cut in half to create 2 sort of fillets de chicken, if you will. We want a thinner piece of meat because it is going to reflect our seasonings in a more efficacious manner. You want to place your knife pretty much in the middle. Cut slowly. Now your fingers are pressing on top here. Keep in mind that knife can pop up and cut them little fingers, and we do not want that to happen. So you got to make sure that knife is slicing right through the middle of that meat. And of course, when you get to the end, you're going to move your hand like that because you don't want to cut it open. So you see how we got 2 nice thin pieces of chicken here. All right. We'll take a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, not a lot. Drop here. Oh yeah, a little bit over here. And then we are going to brush that on that breast with our lovely little nylon brush. Alright, and we're going to coat the other side as well. A little bit of olive oil on each. We're going to let them sit there in that olive oil for a second. If there is one thing that John takes seriously in life, it is this. Garlic. Tastes good and it's good for you. I think 2 cloves are going to do us here. You take a nice flat bladed knife and place it on the garlic, and with the heel of your hand you strike it. Now this is going to take a little practice to know what level of striking. If you smush it, it's no big deal. But basically what that does theoretically is to loosen up that peel enough that it's going to come right off of that clove of garlic. So let's do that with this one here as well. What we want to do is create a bunch of really, really wafer thin slices. It's the same thing, remember using that plane of your fingers there. Alright, let that sit there. Rosemary, fresh rosemary. 2, 3, 4. Let's take about 5 of those. We're just going to rinse this off real quick. Alright, we're going to take some kosher, coarse salt here. And we are going to drizzle some along the top of this breast. Fresh ground pepper. What we're going to do is we're going to take about half of these chunks of garlic here, you know, roughly speaking. And we are going to just place them on our chicken breast. Now, we take our rosemary and just put a couple of pieces on each breast like that. You just kind of stick them on there. That's that olive oil provides the adhesive for us. That's important. What you want to do here, flip these pieces over because we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. And you want to keep that rosemary and that. There we go. Garlic just right where it is. Okay. Second verse, same as the first. That's all it takes. And we're going to throw those on the grill in just a minute. Okay, let's take a look at these potatoes here. Ooh, those are browning up nicely, so we're just going to stir those up a little bit. And you can kind of get a sense how they're doing. Yeah, those are still pretty hard. They still got a good amount to cook. Here's the other thing. If you find they're going a little bit too slow, you can always go ahead and turn the heat on underneath them for a little while. And we're going to go ahead and do that right now. We're going to put some low heat on. Now, take a look at what we're using here. This is a flat grill with holes in it. This is generally referred to as a fish grill. And the reason to have it, of course, is if you have a fish that is of a delicate nature, it could just fall right through your grates. So the reason we're using this with the chicken, obviously the chicken is not at risk of falling through the grates, but we've got all of these seasonings that are on there, and we want them to cook into the chicken. That's what's going to give it its flavor. Okay, it's real important when you first grab it that you get all that stuff that's underneath there. And then you just slide it onto your grill like so. Cook for a couple of minutes, and then we just flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. We're going to go ahead and cover it, keep our potatoes cooking, and we'll be right back to check on our grill. Wine. Chicken is one of those dishes that a lot of people feel differently about. You know, chicken can go with a nice white, with a nice red, could go with a rosé. I myself personally prefer a red with chicken, and what I have selected here is a lovely Spanish wine. It is a Rioja region Tempranillo. And if you look closely at this label, you can see that it is a what's called a Gran Reserva, which means it's some good stuff, man. Whoa! That's good. Lovely. Oh, we swirl it. We hold it up. Cheers. Okay, that chicken definitely is ready to be flipped. Oh, look at that. That looks great. See how these taters are doing over here. Oh yeah, those are cooking up good. See, we got a little heat under them now, and I think that's going to cook them up a little bit quicker. Then we are going to go ahead and fire up the side burner. Okay, I think this kale is ready to come in, folks. Let's go ahead and take that in. Okay, look at that kale. Oh boy, does that look good. Really, just a drop. That's plenty right there. A little bit of salt, not too much, but we're going to toss that through. And then we are going to throw our radishes in there. And of course, just a splash of balsamic vinegar to finish off these tasty greens. Just a splash. Okay, I think that chicken's probably about ready to come off. Let's get that. Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? All right. There we go. And the taters are going to be coming in next. We'll go ahead and take this inside. Browning up nicely in there, huh? Oh, good. Oh, yeah. Those are just about ready to go. All right, folks, there you have it. We got your rosemary grilled chicken, your herb roasted potatoes, and your steamed kale with the sliced radishes. Here to y'all. Happy cooking, happy drink making, happy eating, and happy drinking. Cheers from BBQ Bunz.
Yeah, barbecue Bunz.
My name is John. I'm a nerd. I'm not really comfortable in front of a camera. I don't know how to cook. Well, shoot, this is in Italian. I can't read Italian, can I? Don't throw them around the way I'm doing. Definitely don't do that. So why do we even do it when we're gonna just drink the wine anyway? Step away from the kale. Flying cocktail. Peeling skin off your hand. That doesn't sound pleasurable to me. Don't tell the public that. Ow. It's hot. Cherry baby. Daddy Bunz. BBQ Daddy Bunz. That's my name. Maintain the structural integrity of your banana. Woo! Ouch! 1.5 squeezes. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to make some grilled bananas. Yes, we are. Hey, good evening. Hope you enjoyed the chicken. Now we're going to do something a little different tonight, a little special, because quite frankly, I'm not a big dessert guy. Don't do dessert a lot now. That does not mean that I do not enjoy dessert. I do indeed, but it's a rarer thing for me. So a lot of the shows are not going to have a dessert component, but this evening we felt that it was a dessert time. So we're going to do some grilled bananas. We have some honey. We have some extremely old brown sugar. We have one huge bottle of dark rum, some butter, and some vanilla, and of course, le banana. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, we're just going to cut the very end of the fruit off. Now, we're going to cut this banana in half lengthwise, and we want to maintain the structural integrity of the banana with the skin, okay? So we're going to start that like this, and we're going to very carefully cut that down through the middle so that what we're left is 2 halves of banana in their skin. Okay, let's do the same thing with this one over here. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take each individual slice of banana and you're going to score the banana. Now be careful, be very gentle. You do not want to cut through the skin. You see that knife did not come through the skin. It's very important that there be no perforations in the skin because this acts as the cooking vessel for the banana. But we're just going to go ahead and go through really quickly and just score that sucker, little pieces all the way through, right? And we'll do that on each one of these here. Now we're going to cook these in the skin, so you leave them just as that is. Okay, now we're going to step over to the stove and we're going to combine all of these ingredients and make a little sauce. Now this right here is what we refer to as a mini whisk. Can you say whisk? Take a chunk of that butter, I don't know, a tablespoon or so. Get your heat on so that starts melting up. I mentioned earlier that I have some extremely ancient brown sugar. A lot of people might throw that away when it gets to the point where what you've got left is chunks like this. However, when cooking, the chunks will melt and will work perfectly. So this is a good use for the old brown sugar. And while we've got that going, we're going to add a little bit of honey. Now this just happens to be LR rice, raw and unfiltered honey, which is local to the state of Colorado. I encourage you, if possible, to get honey that is local to your region, because it just so happens, you can look this up on the Googles, apparently eating local honey can help you with seasonal allergies. It has something to do with pollen. I don't know the science. That's about 1.5 squeezes right there. Now we add a little bit of the vanilla extract. You know, I think we're going to probably do what might qualify as roughly about a teaspoon. Whoa! Get on back! Hello! Step away from the skillet. Step away. Now see these little chunks of brown sugar that looked so throwawayable earlier? Look at them melt right up. We have a whisk. We have butter. We have brown sugar. We have vanilla extract, and we have a little bit of honey. There's one thing missing from this delicious sauce, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, the dark rum. Now you want to add, you know, about a jot of the rum. Whoa, that's fun too. Yeah, exciting. Okay, we can turn the heat off on this. Yeah. So folks, it's really simple. It's incredibly simple. What you do is you just take a little bit of that sauce that you made. Okay, and what we're going to do is we are going to just let these cook, and every couple of minutes we're going to drizzle a little more sauce on them, and then you just spread it on the banana like that. So these were here and these were there, and you can see from looking at these that these have cooked more, because you see the way the skin is starting to pull away from them and they're kind of puffing up as compared to the way that those are. So I moved these to the hotter part and those over to the cooler part, because presumably that will balance out now. Isn't that interesting? Alright, let's go take a look at the bananas, see how they're doing. Oh, they are looking great. Now do you see the way that they're kind of popping up out of the skin there? That's an indicator to us that they are cooking up very nicely. What we're going to do is give them their final coating of sauce here. Another great thing about cooking them in the skin is that sauce is all contained. It does not drip down into the fire. It is contained by the skin, and basically the bananas are kind of stewing in this delicious sauce. We're going to cover them for just maybe about 3 more minutes, and then we're going to serve them up. Time to get the ice cream ready. Let's go. Now, what's a great idea, by the way, is to take your ice cream out, 5 to up to 10 minutes before you're going to serve it. It gets a little soft. You know how sometimes you're digging into the ice cream? Look at the way that just kind of comes right out of it, man. That's just from letting it sit there for a couple of minutes. We'll take these out to the grill. This is a delicate part here. Now you go ahead and scoop up one of these nanners, and then you just spoon that banana, oh my goodness, look at that, right onto your plate there, and then you take the skin off. Does that look good or what? Well, folks, we'll see you next time. Peace. BBQ Bunz.
Yeah, barbecue Bunz.